all good, all good. Yeah, I was walking this afternoon thinking how sometimes we can tell stories to ourselves to avoid the truth, and they can act as a protective shield for our minds. They can help us cope with difficult realities that we are not ready to face or willing to face. And that could be, for example, in a relationship breakup where the relationship is sort of broken up and the other person's moved on, but it's possible to sort of cling on to some sort of false hope of maybe rekindling the relationship and just sort of using a narrative and making excuses for the other person's behavior. That the reason they're going out with someone else is for this reason. The reason they've sort of not got back in touch is for that reason, type thing. And then basically can sort of cling on to anything really. Professionally, I remember one time this footballer, he was on trial for a team, he was trying out for a team, and the weeks went on and he was sort of hanging on to anything to suggest that he might get a contract when I think he knew deep down inside that it wasn't going to happen, and he was making excuses in terms of why, or the narrative in terms of why they were carrying on, keeping him training. And I mean, the argument is you could say, okay, well, why don't you just ask the person? And you could ask the person you've broken up with, you could ask the person, for example, professionally in that situation, the coach, but sometimes people don't feel comfortable. Maybe they feel mild discomfort. It can feel like confrontational for some people. You say, okay, well, where do I stand? Type thing. Or maybe you could also argue sometimes people could sort of throw some breadcrumbs type thing where they aren't sure if the options worked out for them type thing. And they sort of keep you in limbo with the occasional text here and there. I mean, there's a variety of things, and maybe there's a chance that it could happen. Who knows? But I'm just using this as an example that these narratives can range from small justifications to elaborate fantasies that distort our perception of events, or even personal shortcomings, where, okay, we might not be at that level to play for that team, or maybe we've drifted apart in that relationship. Our values have changed. The person we met is different from the person we are now, and we've kind of drifted apart. And whilst they can provide temporary comfort or preserve our self-esteem, they ultimately, in my opinion, prevent us from growing and making authentic changes in our lives. And they sort of keep us stuck in that narrative. And look, I'm not here to give advice or make suggestions to anybody. Everyone's sort of, their own life. They decide what's right for them, but I'm only speaking anecdotally from my experiences. And sort of recognizing and challenging these stories, like having a good hard look in the mirror, an honest hard look in the mirror. And I think by doing that, you can then accept responsibility and foster that genuine self-awareness to know, okay, this relationship has run its course, they've moved on, time for me to move on. There's plenty of people out there. If I decide to go into a relationship, if I decide otherwise, there's plenty of things I can do for growth on my own. In the football scenario, there's plenty of other teams out there that might be more suitable, or perhaps that level might be too high for me. It might not be. I don't know. Maybe we'll give another team a go type thing. But the key thing is having that self-awareness, because I think through that self-awareness, then you can achieve that personal transformation rather than sort of like being stuck in that narrative for longer than one needs to be, so to speak.